I learned that students at the junior high schools where my son and daughter attend have been celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. Before my children went to school today, I pleaded with them to be a light. I told them that even though some of their peers are exhibiting a murderous disposition, their peers are not lost. They're in desperate need of a light from a friend like them to show them their choices and where each path leads. I cautioned my children that if they were not bold enough to be that light, then they risk being swallowed up by this dark and revolutionary disposition infecting social media and our society. These are the words I asked my kids to say. Murder is always wrong. Charlie Kirk was a good man who believed in Jesus. He was a husband, a father, and worked hard to have respectful conversations with people of different beliefs. Charlie, me, you, and everyone here has unalienable rights to life, liberty, property, and to live according to our conscience. More than ever, these principles of freedom need to be living in our souls, hearts, and minds so we can boldly, humbly, and lovingly speak truth while also protecting the opportunity for others to do the same, because we understand that the protection of all rights is a protection of our own rights. Unalienable rights are the foundation of America. This is how we came together when the strangers and the pilgrims aboard the cramped, delayed, and off-course Mayflower hurriedly wrote down 195 words in the emergency document, the Mayflower Compact, so they could have a foundation to exist together outside of their intended territory in peace and unitedly flourish despite their differences. The notion of inalienable rights is rooted in the belief that God is our creator. If God created us, others, and this world, then all is His, and we cannot destroy His creations. Ourselves and others have been given by God the right to life, liberty, property, and to live according to conscience. We must respect and honor this right for others and defend it for ourselves. Disclaimer, this is not an absolute right. Public virtue requires we assume and defend a social contract for the common good, with an obligation to obey laws that are equally applied and collectively agreed upon. On the other side of the spectrum is the idea that Tyler Robinson and those who have celebrated such an evil assassination exhibit. It is the idea that they are God. As God, they can determine who has the right to live, to speak, and whose conscience to commend. This is the foundation of tyranny, anarchy, chaos, communism, and fascism. All of these political and social descriptors stem from the use of force by individuals and nations to comply or die. Two sides lie before us. Our children are choosing sides. It is up to us to clearly show them each side and where it leads. We must teach our children true principles. A true principle is one that yields the promised result. Murder is wrong. All mankind has the inalienable right to life, liberty, property, and to live according to conscience. Defend and protect it as if it were your life, because it is.
With me, I have a sign here. True Christians love everyone. Would you say you believe in this sign?
Yes, but define love.
Find love? It's a respect. You respect someone enough to not judge them, to not hate them for what they're doing, no matter what it is.
Do you lie to people you love?
Do I lie to people I love? Not often enough. And I don't lie about...
Should we, in the ideal, when you love somebody, should you lie to them?
Depends on the lie. Say you have a sibling and they have a dress on, and it is just ugly, the ugliest thing you've ever seen. Are you going to tell them, you need to change it, you horrible person?
Yes. In fact, I'll do it in a way that is filled with love, but I love my sister so much that if she's going to leave the house and be made fun of, I won't let her do that, because that's what love is all about. You see, love is not...
Are you going to make her feel ugly saying that?
Well, no, in fact...
How would you say it to make them not feel ugly?
I would say, listen, I care a lot about you. I think that maybe you should change that outfit, or let's see what other outfits you might have.
What if she's like, no, I spent a lot on this, I'm really proud, I think this looks great. Are you going to say that what she thinks look great doesn't look great to you?
I would say, look, you can obviously wear whatever you want, but I want to caution you that if you wear that dress out in public, it might not be received the way you think it would be received. I would be remiss not to say that if I actually loved my sister. I'd be remiss, because love is not affirmation. Love is not confirmation. Love is making sure that you care so much about the other that you're willing to challenge and point out flaws when you see them and have the courage to articulate it. That's what love is. Which is that we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and darkness and spirits, that there's a spiritual war here.
Hey, my name's Blair. Just got a question for you here. How do you feel about the black community receiving reparations?
I'm against that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, why so?
Well, first of all, what is the black community? So, for example, do you mean like recent immigrants from Haiti or Nigeria?
I do not. No.
Okay, for sure. So you're meaning like ancestral descendants of slaves.
Correct.
That
Yes,
could
sir.
be proven with documentation.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay. So to be consistent, do you believe that other groups that have been mistreated in America should also receive reparations?
What are those other groups?
Well, they're not necessarily by America, but let's just take one. Jewish Americans, right?
Okay.
They almost got eliminated in the Holocaust. Should they receive reparations?
Not from us.
Okay, not from us.
Not
but-
from the United States, that is.
Okay. So here's my view, and I want to hear yours,
Okay.
which is that I did not own slaves, and you were not a slave.
Correct.
Right. So we are individuals, and therefore we cannot be held accountable or should receive something from something that didn't happen to us or something we did not do. That is a basic law of justice, that I can't be held accountable for something that somebody looked like me did, and you should not benefit from something that somebody you were related to. Now, you would probably say systemic racism and how that passed down through generations. Happy to address that. The problem with reparations, though, is basically what you're saying is I'm going to take money from Charlie Kirk for something he didn't do and give it to a group of something, to somebody of something they also didn't do. For what reason? How is that just?
So not so much how is it just, but there are those arguments that says because of what happened in the past, this group of people have been negatively affected from this nation's crimes against humanity to that certain group of people. And that's how we see it, or how some people see it, if you will.
Okay. Okay, sure, but I will say that even if there is some truth to that, which I wouldn't even be willing to grant very much, because Black America was doing incredibly well before the not incredibly well. They were pacing to be even richer than white America. Is that we must look through the question of is it just and moral to take from one group, especially first and second generation immigrants that had nothing to do with this. So think about it. Your tax base would be taxing, like if anyone here is Irish or Polish and your family came 100 years ago, we would be taxing people that had nothing to do with it. And I'll go a step further. My family fought on the Union side of the Civil War, right? So you're going to be taxing Charlie Kirk, whose descendants fought to free the slaves, to go give money to people that were descended, from slaves. So what is a way that we could try to help all communities? Here's maybe we can find some common ground,
Sure,
right?
I'm listening.
Instead of reparations.
Sure.
Is that we need to break the cartel of public sector teacher unions, allow school choice to occur, and make it easier for people of all backgrounds, but specifically Hispanic and Black individuals and young kids to have a quality education, because a good education in K through 12 is one of the most assured ways that they'll be able to succeed later in life. Secondly, we need to put fathers back in the home.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And 70% of Black kids are raised without a stable father in this in the country. So if we can find common ground on that, I think that would go a lot further than just giving cash for people that happen to be related to something evil that happened a little while ago.
So I am a second-year master's student in student affairs, and I see you got an anti-DEI shirt on, so this is about to get good. I personally believe in DEI. I think that actually helps with creating inclusivity within PWIs in predominantly white institutions. And I also believe that, I go to FSU, that's where I go at. But I also believe that this is the reason why I wanted to get into student affairs, because I believe that with the DEI being present within our campuses, we actually are able to build inclusivity for students who are first gen, for minoritized students, for veteran students who are coming onto these campuses and actually being able to feel like they have somewhere for them on campus. As well, I understand the counter argument, but I'm gonna let you go first. I'm sorry.
Well, instead of debating DEI, why don't you define it further so we can make sure we're talking about the same thing?
Got you. So diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I know what that means.
Okay, my fault, my fault.
I would say DEI stands for didn't earn it, but that's a separate issue.
Ooh, didn't earn it. You been working on that? Type. So, so yes, a lot of people think that, and in that regards, which is a counter argument to it. But I honestly believe that the fact that you got to this point where you was already unrepresented on these campuses already shows that you did actually earn to get those fundings, did actually earn to get that exclusivity tailored to you. Because the fact that you even made it to the campus where a lot of people in disproportionate communities don't make it a lot out of, at least you can have is a place on campus where you feel included at. That would be my argument.
Yeah, so I don't know what DEI looks like on this campus. So, yeah, so I can't speak to that. Let's try to find some common ground.
Okay.
Do you think people should be hired based on their race or their competency?
I don't think that. I think they should be race.
Which one?
My fault. I'm sorry. My fault. I think that they should be hired based off their competency, not their race.
We totally agree, right?
Okay.
So what DEI does in practice, not in theory, is it focuses on race more than competency. And
Okay.
that is our concern.
Okay.
And so what I want, and you seem, very passionate about a lot of things, and you obviously have skills. For your life, I want you always to be judged on the content of your character, not the color of your skin, which is actually, as you know, Martin Luther King gave this big speech. And yeah, I know, but he is an ideal. I agree with this sentence for sure. Where DEI says, no, we're actually going to care more about skin color than competency. Mm-hmm. And so what we want is an America based on merit, America based on how hard you work, an America based on what you bring to the table, not just what you look like.
I got you, and I understand that it's very well, and I think that that's a profound position to have with it. And
no, you're good. Yeah.
And I know you gotta go, so
no, you're good. Keep going.
Okay.
Can we both agree though?
Yeah.
That the less we talk about race as a country, probably better. That if we look at people as human beings first and not race.
I agree with that.
Okay, we can agree. Thank you, man. God bless you. Thank you. How we doing?
Knew him well. You talk to him all the time. It's just trying to understand the void that's been left by this senseless murder. It feels impossible.
I agree with that, but I do think it makes a kind of sense. I mean, above all, Charlie represented belief in God, and that is the divide. I'm sorry to say that, and I'm certainly not trying to inspire religious-based conflict. It's a contradiction in terms. Read Luke 6. I mean, Jesus does not endorse violence. Honestly, even in self-defense, he says. So, people can grapple with that as they will, but that's what it says. And so I am totally opposed to violence, but that is the dividing line. It's not left or right, Republican, Democrat, trans, straight, or whatever. There's an effort to recast this as a different kind of contest between worldviews. The dividing line is, do you think God exists or do you think you are God? And it's that simple. It has always been that simple. It will never change. And I think our souls are at stake. I really, really believe that. I think Jesus is the only answer. Sorry. That is in some ways a very triggering thing to say, and which tells you right there.
Too bad.
It's true. Well, it's true. And I'm not saying that to provoke. I'm saying that because I believe it. And it is the only answer because you can see exactly where this goes. And so, the one religion in the world that stands up and says no, and then is hated for it, like that tells you this is a spiritual war, and that's the only way out.